What's up, Ego Hackers? Welcome to the CS Joseph podcast. Today's episode, we're going to be discussing, reluctantly, an ENTP career-related question. So, which is, what kind of tech careers would be good for an ENTP? But I'm actually going to expand on this and slightly alter the subject a little bit and add in a little bit extra that no one really expected. If you guys... don't forget, if you guys want me to, answer your questions and make videos or podcast episodes about them, I'll do that. All you got to do is go to csjoseph.life/members, become a journeyman member, then upgrade your account to Acolyte. That's all you got to do. Or you go to csjoseph.life/portal if you already are a journeyman member, then click on the Acolyte page and upgrade from there. And then once a month, you ask me a question, and then I turn it into a video, which goes on our podcast and also here on the YouTube channel. Might want to check that out. So, but yeah, back to the episode. So today's episode, we're doing the ENTP Tech Careers option. And what do you mean by tech career? See, here's the thing, folks. It doesn't matter what you choose as your career, as long as you're actually able to do it and you're able to make enough money to support the kind of lifestyle you want, right? But would I ever recommend something like computer programming to an extroverted thinking critic? Writing code, as an ENTP? I mean, unless it's a labor of love, unless you're inventing your own kind of technology, or you're on the cutting edge itself, you're not really going to get much satisfaction being someone else's code monkey. It's not going to bring you much satisfaction in life, so why bother doing it, right? It's just not going to work. The other thing to do tech careers with, it's ISFJ subconscious, got to be the most dependable, most reliable, strongest last man standing, most enduring person, here within the field. So yeah, I need to learn information technology infrastructure instead of information technology computer programming, where you understand servers and virtualization and containerization, which you can get certified for all those things at cbtnuggets.com, which I've talked about in the past. But, people would know that if they just watched more than just videos relating to just their type, which is frustrating. They need to stop doing that. It's kind of interesting as to how a lot of the competition I have on YouTube or on the podcast, they end up having a larger subscriber audience than myself because they focus on just one type, the type that they identify with. But I talk about everyone, literally everybody. I don't just talk about one particular type and show favoritism to one type because that's what I identify with. Yeah, no, not doing that. Everyone is represented here. Thing is, though, is that yes, some types are more represented than others because some types are more willing to spend money over others, for example. And because of that, that's why there's a little bit more of a favoring with the volume of videos coming from intuitives, because intuitives are willing to make that financial investment compared to sensors, not so much. Could you imagine an ESFJ being willing to make that work, to make that a thing, to become an Acolyte member and do these questions? Usually they're my conflict type. They usually tend to hate my guts, so it's not likely to happen. If it does happen, it's miraculous, let's be honest. That means they've had to get over all of their ego investments, and I am very proud of them if they do. I think I'm up to 8 coaching clients ever who are ESFJs, for example. 8. Just only 8 people. Only 8 coaching clients are ESFJs. So it's very rare, for example, for an ESFJ to make that commitment. I got a lot more ISFJs than ESFJs, but ESFJs are absolutely the least represented within this ego hacker community because I'm their conflict type and they just naturally hate my guts. Basically, they just naturally hate my guts. But tech careers. Remember, ENTPs, you are triple systematic. Triple systematic means you need to play to your strengths, which means whatever it is you do for a career, it's got to be based around systems. Or you need to be able to have the space to create systems, right? Systems that you can have in order to improve your situation, right? It's all about systems. You need to have systems because those systems are ultimately what are going to help you to get through the day. You got to write it all down. You got to, keep a notepad or a Word or a Word document, or maybe do what I do, get a whimsical account or a mind mapping account, and just keep track of everything and just follow a system for every single task. You just have to kind of write your own standard operating procedures to be able to get through every single task, tech or otherwise. You just kind of have to do that. That way, you can get so good. I mean, that's actually one of the first steps into management, is when you turn your own tasks into standard operating procedures. You end up knowing that procedure so well that you can actually assist other people in knowing the procedure. Management will notice, and then you'll get promoted, basically. But it really comes down to how you can leverage your triple systematic behavior to really make it in a tech career. And, you don't want your INTJ shadow to get in the way and start wanting to take shortcuts, because as much as I beg on INTJs, for example, for wanting shortcuts in life, that's not to say that ENTPs don't do it, because they do it, to the point where it's kind of actually disgusting how much they often take shortcuts. They allow themselves to become fans or fanboys of a certain someone, a certain noun, a person, place, or thing, and they put all their faith into that thing, and then that thing will disappoint them, and then they feel really bad about themselves, and then they move on to the next thing that they could be a fan of. Oh, this will save me, or oh, this will give me a good career, or oh, this will really help out. I know an ENTP who thought he'd make a lot of money being a notary. I laughed a lot. Nope, didn't happen. It was very naive. He admitted later that he was being naive, but yeah, definitely not the direction I would have gone. Since then, I've recommended that, since his family is getting into hospitality, he should probably consider getting into hospitality, but he's got to be triple systematic about it. For example, if he was to start his own Airbnb empire, which I would recommend, get his credit score and his income, based on his, having 2 jobs, so that he could potentially afford to rent a place, and then after renting it, turn it into an Airbnb. It cost him, $1,500 a month in rent for that place, and then he could Airbnb it out for $3,000 to $4,000 a month, and then use the extra cash, use the profit to get another place and another one, until he has 12 Airbnbs, and then he can systematize it by having a good relationship with the cleaning lady, and then all of the furniture is exactly the same and systematized. All the dishes are all exactly the same. It says all the carpets, all the rugs, everything. He has all the same vendors he goes to, and it's just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. That's what triple systematic is all about. But when it comes to tech careers, you need to apply that same kind of philosophy, that triple systematic philosophy, in everything that you do with your career and everything you do in work. For example, with my tech career, that's exactly what I did. You create this, what's called a gold image, for your servers, etc., and they deploy this gold image across multiple virtual machines in your VMware environment, and you have virtualized servers. I one time ran a three-site implementation with 3 different data centers, being able to do disaster recovery at all 3 data centers using a technology called Zerto, on top of VMware, which is on top of Cisco UCS, which is on top of Cisco Nexus Fabric, etc., using Fiber Channel and iSCSI at the same time, with storage coming from Nimble Storage. And I had to know all of these technologies. I had to know all of the IQNs, all of the iSCSI, every single aspect. And I did a great job. And I was paid 6 figures to do it, But, again, it's so funny to me how ENTPs think that they can choose their tech career, when the reality is they have to understand that they're expert intuition hero. Their tech career chooses them. It's about being in the right place at the right time. You don't get to choose. They think they get to choose because they're heart temple, and the heart temple serves at the feet of introverted intuition. Yay! So they have this delusion that they have a choice, when the reality of the situation is the ENTP just needs to take their triple systematic self and go where they are wanted, right? And if they don't know how to make them wanted, maybe they should spend time volunteering at places. The more they volunteer, the more experience they get, the more desirable they become on their resume, and then they can get a better career. That's actually the absolute best way to get started in any career as an ENTP. Go volunteer, fill your SI with experiences so you can tell stories, and then you'll get hired. I can't just, be on this episode and tell you, yeah, hey, go learn VMware. I can't do that. Because, I'd have to tell you to get certified with the the A plus certification first, followed by the Linux plus certification, then the Network plus certification. And then at that point, you have a foundation of knowledge where you can actually have a tech career just off of that. Of course, A plus certified, you can get a help desk job at Amazon, straight away. Because you're instantly more hireable than anyone else that actually interviews there because you have a certification, right? And it's not hard to get the IEEE A plus certification. But the point is, it doesn't matter what I recommend to you as a tech career. You need to be certified. But so really, it's more of I can't tell you what you should do. It's more I could tell you what you shouldn't do. Don't get a computer programming career. I mean, if you're like Fib on the Discord server, who's a mod, he's an ENTP, a brilliant one. If you're like him, yeah, sure, you can learn code, and if you're going to learn code, learn Python, but it's not. He's not learning code for the sake of coding. He's learning code to build himself bots to automate things, to make things easier for himself in his own life, based on his own strategies, based on what he wants to do with the technologies he wants to create because of his own ideas, right? Based on his ideas, where he's inspired. Based on algorithms that he's created, and learning tech skills supports those projects that he does. But learning how to be a code monkey where you're told to code something for somebody else, you're going to fail. Because it's not like an ENTP is ever going to be good as a front-end developer. Yeah, they can read the ultimate UX book for user experience called Don't Make Me Think. They could read that book. But it's still not going to give them a good result. They have extroverted thinking critic. And there's a lot of, they either need pure logic or pure rationale in order to make it as a computer programmer anyway. That's why INFJs are the best suited for computer programming out of all the 16 types and not ENTPs. So ENTPs are left with being, infrastructure, all about support within infrastructure, all about help desk, all about customer service from that perspective, because they're dutiful FE users who are triple systematic. And they have to be willing to create those procedures to have better outcomes from a technical point of view. But, I can't just say, have this great tech career. I mean, there's so many different types of careers in tech. I mean, I met a guy who did photography using drones for racing companies. That's pretty nice. It just doesn't matter. The point is, folks, ENTPs, when it comes to their career, especially tech career, go where you are wanted. If you find somewhere that you're kind of interested in, go volunteer doing it and see what it's actually like, so you actually have something in introverted sensing, so then you're like, ew, this is gross. I don't actually want to do this. So then they're like, okay, I'm not doing this. Then they go volunteer somewhere else. That's wiser. How about ENTPs decide to, be wise with their career and go try stuff out? No one's going to refuse a volunteer. And if they do, they're dumb and you don't really want to work for them. So go find some there. You can go volunteer as a barback, for example. And then maybe you get hired on as a barback later, which is basically the busser or the maintainer of a bar. And then the bartender may actually teach you to make drinks. Then eventually you could become a bartender because you have the experience. There's no such thing as a bartender school or certification because all that's crap. You have to just throw yourself into the fire and immerse your introverted sensing with what's happening. And it's no different between a bar versus a help desk or anything tech related. Mass immersion. But you're not going to get the immersion if you have no experience because no one's going to want to hire you. So maybe you should become an intern. Maybe you should volunteer. That's how you're going to be. That's how that. Your entire tech career foundation is based on that. So yeah, I mean, I could tell you, yeah, sure, learn networking, learn Cisco Nexus switches, learn iSCSI or fiber channel storage, and there's so many different technologies like Dell EMC, nimble storage, pure storage, which is probably the leader in storage these days. Go learn Exagrid for backup appliances. Go learn Veeam for backup software, and their competitors, Cohesity and Rubrik, if they're still around. And if Rubrik is still around, I'd be entirely surprised, because what a horrible company, in my opinion. But that's all you got to do. Like, go where you're wanted. And if you're not wanted anywhere, then you haven't volunteered. You don't have any experience. So go volunteer so you get experience to make you desirable. The more volunteering means the more effort, which means your SI is getting upgraded, which means by cognitive access, your NE is being upgraded, making you more desirable, more hireable, because you're more desirable, because you actually have experience. And then you're going to get the job, and then your tech career is off the races. You don't get to decide your tech career. You don't get to choose your tech career. Who told you that? That's bullshit. Your tech career chooses you. Mine chose me. You think I had any say in it? I was just trying to survive. I was just trying to feed my family. Like, my firstborn was literally born into homelessness. I was willing to do anything. I'm sure you would be too, right? At least if you're a man of your salt. Speaking to ENTP men. So come on. That's what it's all about. The tech career chooses you. You just have to position yourself for greatness. And you do that by volunteering. So, anyway, folks, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tonight on the Discord.